Deuteronomy 10.
At that time Jehovah said to me, "Cut for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come up to me on the mountain, and make an ark of wood. And I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets that you broke, and you shall put them in the ark." So I made an ark of acacia wood, and cut 2 tablets of stone like the first, and went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. And he wrote on the tablets in the same writing as before the 10 commandments that Jehovah had spoken to you on the mountain out of the midst of the fire on the day of the assembly. And Jehovah gave them to me. Then I turned and came down from the mountain, and put the tablets in the ark that I had made. And there they are, as Jehovah commanded me. The people of Israel journeyed from Beeroth Bene-Jaakan to Mosera. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And his son Eleazar ministered as priest in his place. From there they journeyed to Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jotbatha, a land with brooks of water. At that time Jehovah set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, to stand before Jehovah, to minister to him, and to bless in his name to this day. Therefore Levi has no portion or inheritance with his brothers. Jehovah is his inheritance, as Jehovah your God said to him. I myself stayed on the mountain as at the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And Jehovah listened to me that time. Also Jehovah was unwilling to destroy you. And Jehovah said to me, "Arise, go on your journey at the head of the people, so that they may go in and possess the land, which I swore to their fathers to give them." And now, Israel, what does Jehovah your God require of you, but to fear Jehovah your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve Jehovah your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and statutes of Jehovah, which I am commanding you today for your good. Behold, to Jehovah your God belong heaven and the heaven of heavens, the earth with all that is in it. Yet Jehovah set his heart in love on your fathers, and chose their offspring after them, you above all peoples, as you are this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no longer stubborn, for Jehovah your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, and the awesome God, who is not partial and takes no bribe. He executes justice for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the sojourner, giving him food and clothing. Love the sojourner, therefore, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. You shall fear Jehovah your God, you shall serve him and hold fast to him, and by his name you shall swear. He is your praise, he is your God, who has done for you these great and terrifying things that your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Egypt, 70 persons, Jehovah your God has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven.
Deuteronomy 11.
Therefore you shall love Jehovah your God, and keep his charge, his statutes, his ordinances, and his commandments always. Know this day, for I am not speaking with your children, who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of Jehovah your God. His greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, his signs and his works that he did in the midst of Egypt, to Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to all his land. What he did to the army of Egypt, to their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea flow over them as they pursued after you, and how Jehovah has destroyed them to this day. What he did for you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, with their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them, in the midst of all Israel. But your eyes have seen all the great work of Jehovah that he did. Therefore you shall keep every commandment that I am commanding you today, so that you may be strong and go in and possess the land that you are crossing over to possess, and so that you may prolong your days in the land that Jehovah swore to your fathers to give to them and to their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land that you are entering to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you came, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot like a vegetable garden. But the land that you are crossing over to possess is a land of hills and valleys that drinks water from the rain of heaven, a land that Jehovah your God cares for. The eyes of Jehovah your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if you will listen carefully to my commandments that I am commanding you today, to love Jehovah your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give the rain of your land in its season, the early rain and the latter rain, so that you may gather in your grain, your new wine and your oil. And I will give grass in your fields for your cattle, and you shall eat and be full. Take care lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And the anger of Jehovah be kindled against you, and he shut up the heavens so that there will be no rain, and the land will not yield its fruit, and you perish quickly from the good land that Jehovah is giving you. Therefore you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and And you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall teach them to your children, talking of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be multiplied in the land that Jehovah swore to your fathers to give them, as the days of the heavens above the earth. For if you will carefully keep all this commandment that I am commanding you to do, to love Jehovah your God, to walk in all his ways, and to hold fast to him, then Jehovah will drive out all these nations from before you, and you will dispossess nations greater and mightier than yourselves. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours. Your border shall be from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea. No one will be able to stand against you. Jehovah your God will lay the fear of you and the dread of you on all the land that you tread on, as he has spoken to you. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you listen to the commandments of Jehovah your God that I am commanding you today. And the curse if you do not listen to the commandments of Jehovah your God, but turn aside from the way that I am commanding you today, to go after other gods that you have not known. And when Jehovah your God brings you into the land that you are entering to possess, you shall set the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Abel. Are they not beyond the Jordan, west of the road toward the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites who live in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? For you are about to cross the Jordan to go in to possess the land that Jehovah your God is giving you, and you shall take possession of it and live in it. You shall be careful to do all the statutes and the ordinances that I am setting before you today.
Deuteronomy 12.
These are the statutes and the ordinances that you shall be careful to do in the land that Jehovah, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess all the days that you live on the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. You shall tear down their altars and smash their pillars and burn their Asherim with fire. You shall cut down the carved images of their gods and destroy their name from that place. You shall not do so to Jehovah your God, but you shall seek the place that Jehovah your God will choose out of all your tribes to put his name and make his dwelling there. There you shall go, and there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the contribution of your hand, your vow offerings, your freewill offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before Jehovah your God, and rejoice, you and your households, in all that you undertake, in which Jehovah your God has blessed you. You shall not do according to all that we are doing here today, everyone doing whatever is right in his own eyes. For you have not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance that Jehovah your God is giving you. But when you cross over the Jordan and live in the land that Jehovah your God is giving you to inherit, and when he gives you rest from all your enemies around, so that you live in safety, then to the place that Jehovah your God will choose to make his name dwell there, you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the contribution of your hand, and all your choice vow offerings that you vow to Jehovah. And you shall rejoice before Jehovah your God, you and your sons and your daughters, your male servants and your female servants, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Take care that you do not offer your burnt offerings at any place that you see, but at the place that Jehovah will choose in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I am commanding you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your gates, according to the blessing of Jehovah your God that he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat of it, as of the gazelle and as of the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood. You shall pour it out on the earth like water. You may not eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, or of your new wine, or of your oil, or the firstborn of your herd, or of your flock, or any of your vow offerings that you vow. or your free will offerings, or the contribution of your hand. But you shall eat them before Jehovah your God in the place that Jehovah your God will choose. You and your son and your daughter, your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before Jehovah your God in all that you undertake. Take care that you do not neglect the Levite as long as you live in your land. When Jehovah your God enlarges your territory, as he has promised you, and you say, I will eat meat, because you desire to eat meat, you may eat meat whenever you desire. If the place that Jehovah your God will choose to put his name is too far from you, then you may kill any of your herd or your flock that Jehovah has given you, as I have commanded you, and you may eat within your gates whenever you desire. Just as the gazelle or the deer is eaten, so you may eat of it. The unclean and the clean alike may eat of it. Only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and you shall not eat the life with the flesh. You shall not eat it. You shall pour it out on the earth like water. You shall not eat it, so that it may go well with you and with your children after you, when you do what is right in the sight of Jehovah. But the holy things that are due from you and your vow offerings you shall take, and you shall go to the place that Jehovah will choose, and offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, on the altar of Jehovah your God. The blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar of Jehovah your God. But the flesh you may eat. Be careful to obey all these words that I command you, that it may go well with you and with your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the sight of Jehovah your God. When Jehovah your God cuts off before you the nations that you are going in to dispossess, and you dispossess them and live in their land, take care that you are not ensnared to follow them after they have been destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods, that I also may do the same. You shall not worship Jehovah your God in that way, for every abominable thing that Jehovah hates they have done for their gods, for they even burn their sons and their daughters in the fire to their gods. Everything that I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to it or take from it.
Deuteronomy 13.
If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder that he tells you comes to pass, And if he says, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Jehovah your God is testing you to know whether you love Jehovah your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Jehovah your God and fear him, and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and hold fast to him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has taught rebellion against Jehovah your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of slavery, to make you leave the way in which Jehovah your God commanded you to walk. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife you embrace, or your friend who is as your own soul entices you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods which neither you nor your fathers have known. Some of the gods are the peoples who are around you, whether near you or far off from you, from the one end of the earth to the other. You shall not yield to him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pity him, nor shall you spare him, nor shall you conceal him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first against him, to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. You shall stone him to death with stones, because he sought to draw you away from Jehovah your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and never again do any such wickedness as this among you. If you hear in one of your cities, which Jehovah your God is giving you to dwell there, that certain worthless fellows have gone out among you, and have drawn away the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known, then you shall inquire and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it is true and certain that such an abomination has been done among you, you shall surely put the inhabitants of that city to the sword, devoting it to destruction, all who are in it, and its cattle, with the edge of the sword. You shall gather all its spoil into the midst of its open square, and burn the city and all its spoil with fire, as a whole burnt offering to Jehovah your God. It shall be a heap forever, it shall not be built again. None of the devoted things shall stick to your hand, so that Jehovah may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show you mercy and have compassion on you, and multiply you as he swore to your fathers. If you obey the voice of Jehovah your God, keeping all his commandments that I am commanding you today, and doing what is right in the sight of Jehovah, your God.
Deuteronomy 14.
You are the children of Jehovah your God. You shall not cut yourselves or make any baldness on your foreheads for the dead, for you are a people holy to Jehovah your God. And Jehovah has chosen you to be a people for his treasured possession out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abominable thing. These are the animals you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, and the mountain sheep. Every animal that parts the hoof and has the hoof cloven in two and chews the cud among the animals you may eat. Yet of those that chew the cud or have the hoof cloven, you shall not eat these: the camel, the hare, and the rock badger, because they chew the cud but do not part the hoof. They are unclean for you. And the pig, because it parts the hoof but does not chew the cud, is unclean for you. Their flesh you shall not eat, and their carcasses you shall not touch. Of all that are in the waters you may eat these: whatever has fins and scales you may eat, and whatever does not have fins and scales you shall not eat. It is unclean for you. You may eat all clean birds, but these are the ones that you shall not eat: the eagle, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcon of any kind, every raven of any kind, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk of any kind, the little owl and the short-eared owl, the barn owl and the tawny owl, the carrion vulture and the cormorant, the stork, the heron of any kind, the hoopoe and the bat. And all winged insects are unclean for you. They shall not be eaten. All clean winged things you may eat. You shall not eat anything that is died of itself. You may give it to the sojourner who is within your gates, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a foreigner. For you are a people holy to Jehovah your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. You shall tithe all the yield of your seed that comes from the field year by year. And before Jehovah your God, in the place that he will choose to make his name dwell there, you shall eat the tithe of your grain, of your new wine, and of your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and flock, that you may learn to fear Jehovah your God always. And if the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry the tithe, when Jehovah your God blesses you, because the place that Jehovah your God will choose to set his name there is too far from you, then you shall turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand, and go to the place that Jehovah your God will choose, and spend the money for whatever you desire: oxen or sheep or wine or strong drink, whatever your appetite craves. And you shall eat there before Jehovah your God, and rejoice, you and your household. And you shall not neglect the Levite who is within your towns, for
for he has no portion or inheritance with you. At the end of every 3 years, you shall bring out all the tithe of your produce in the same year, and lay it up within your towns. And the Levite, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, and the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, who are within your towns, shall come and eat and be filled, so that Jehovah your God may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do.
Deuteronomy 15.
At the end of every 7 years you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, because Jehovah's release has been proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may exact it, but whatever of yours is with your brother, your hand shall release. But there will be no poor among you, for Jehovah will surely bless you in the land that Jehovah your God is giving you for an inheritance to possess. If only you will strictly obey the voice of Jehovah your God, being careful to do all this commandment that I command you today. For Jehovah your God will bless you as he promised you, and you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they shall not rule over you. If among you one of your brothers should become poor in any of your towns within your land that Jehovah your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against your poor brother, but you shall open your hand to him and lend him sufficient for his need, whatever it may be. Care lest there be an unworthy thought in your heart, and you say the 7th year, the year of release is near, and your eye look grudgingly on your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and you cry to Jehovah against you, and you be guilty of sin. You shall give to him freely, and your heart shall not be grudging when you give to him, because for this Jehovah your God will bless you in all your work and in all that you undertake. For there will never cease to be poor in the land, therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brother, to the needy and to the poor in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you, he shall serve you 6 years, and in the 7th year you shall let him go free from you. And when you let him go free from you, you shall not let him go empty-handed. You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, out of your threshing floor, and out of your winepress. As Jehovah your God has blessed you, you shall give to him. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Jehovah your God redeemed you. Therefore, I command you this today. But if he says to you, I will not go out from you, because he loves you and your household, since he is well off with you, then you
you shall take an awl and put it through his ear into the door, and he shall be your slave forever. And to your female slave you shall do the same. It shall not seem hard to you when you let him go free from you, for at half the cost of a hired worker he has served you 6 years. So Jehovah your God will bless you in all that you do. All the firstborn males that are born of your herd and flock you shall dedicate to Jehovah your God. You shall do no work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You shall eat it, you and your household, before Jehovah your God year by year, at the place that Jehovah will choose. But if it has any blemish, if it is lame or blind or has any serious blemish, whatever, you shall not sacrifice it to Jehovah your God. You shall eat it within your towns. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it, as though it were a gazelle or a deer. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it out on the ground like water.
Deuteronomy 16.
Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to Jehovah your God. For in the month of Abib, Jehovah your God brought you out of Egypt by night. And you shall offer the Passover sacrifice to Jehovah your God from the flock or the herd, at the place that Jehovah will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread, the bread of affliction. For you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, that all the days of your life you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt. No leaven shall be seen with you in all your territory for 7 days, nor shall any of the flesh that you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain all night until morning. You may not offer the Passover sacrifice within any of your towns that Jehovah your God is giving you, but at the place that Jehovah your God will choose to make his name dwell in it. There you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at sunset, at the time you came out of Egypt. And you shall cook it and eat it at the place that Jehovah your God will choose. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a solemn assembly to Jehovah your God. You shall do no work on it. You shall count 7 weeks Begin to count the 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the standing grain. Then you shall keep the Feast of Weeks to Jehovah your God, with the tribute of a free will offering from your hand, which you shall give as Jehovah your God blesses you. And you shall rejoice before Jehovah your God, you and your son and your daughter, your male servant and your female servant, the Levite who is within your towns, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are among you, at the place that Jehovah your God will choose to make his name dwell there.
You shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and you shall be careful to observe these statutes. You shall keep the Feast of Booths 7 days, when you have gathered in the produce from your threshing floor and your winepress. You shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter, your male servant and your female servant, the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to Jehovah your God, at the place that Jehovah will choose. Because Jehovah your God will bless you in all your produce and in all the work of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. 3 times a year all your males shall appear before Jehovah your God, at the place that he will choose. At the Feast of Unleavened Bread, at the Feast of Weeks, and at the Feast of Booths, they shall not appear before Jehovah empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Jehovah your God that he has given you. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns that Jehovah your God is giving you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice, you shall not show partiality, and you shall not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. Justice and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land that Jehovah your God is giving you. You shall not plant any tree as an Asherah beside the altar of Jehovah your God, that you shall make, and you shall not set up a pillar which Jehovah your God hates.
Deuteronomy 17.
You shall not sacrifice to Jehovah your God an ox or a sheep in which is a blemish, any defect whatever, for that is an abomination to Jehovah your God. there is found among you, within any of your towns, that Jehovah your God is giving you, a man or woman who does what is evil in the sight of Jehovah your God, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods and worshipped them, or the sun or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have forbidden, and it is told you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently. And if it is true and certain that such an abomination has been done in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has done this evil thing, and you shall stone that man or woman to death with stones. On the evidence of 2 witnesses or of 3 witnesses, the one who is to die shall be put to death. A person shall not be put to death on the evidence of 1 witness. The hand of the witnesses shall be first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people, so you shall purge the evil from your midst. If any case arises requiring decision between one kind of homicide and another, one kind of legal right and another, or one kind of assault and another, any case within your towns that is too difficult for you, then you shall arise and go up to the place that Jehovah your God will choose. And you shall come to the Levitical priests and to the judge who is in office in those days, and you shall consult them, and they shall declare to you the decision. Then you shall do according to what they declare to you from that place that Jehovah will choose, and you shall be careful to do according to all that they instruct you. According to the instructions that they give you, and according to the decision which they pronounce to you, you shall do. You shall not turn aside from the verdict that they declare to you, either to the right hand or to the left. The man who acts presumptuously by not obeying the priest who stands to minister there before Jehovah your God, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall purge the evil from Israel, and all the people shall hear and fear, and not act presumptuously again. When you come to the land that Jehovah your God is giving you, and you possess it and dwell in it, and then say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are around me. You may indeed set a king over you, whom Jehovah your God will choose. One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother. Only he must not acquire many horses for himself, or cause the people to return to Egypt in order to acquire many horses, since Jehovah has said to you, you shall never return that way again. And
he shall not acquire many wives for himself, lest his heart turn away. Nor shall he acquire for himself excessive silver and gold. And when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself in a book a copy of this law, approved by the Levitical priests. And it shall be with him, and he shall read in it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Jehovah his God by keeping all the words of this law and these statutes, and doing them, that his heart may not be lifted up above his brothers, and that he may not turn aside from the commandment, either to the right hand or to the left, so that he may continue long in his kingdom, he and his children in Israel.
Deuteronomy 18.
Levitical priests, all the tribe of Levi, shall have no portion or inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the Lord's food offerings as their inheritance. They shall have no inheritance among their brothers. Jehovah is their inheritance, as he promised them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from those offering a sacrifice, whether an ox or a sheep. They shall give to the priest the shoulder, and the 2 cheeks, and the stomach, the first fruits of your grain, of your wine, and of your oil, and the first fleece of your sheep you shall give him. For Jehovah your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and minister in the name of Jehovah, him and his sons for all time. And if a Levite comes from any of your towns out of all Israel, where he lives, and he may come when he desires to the place that Jehovah will choose, and ministers in the name of Jehovah his God, like all his fellow Levites who stand to minister there before Jehovah, then he may have equal portions to eat, besides what he receives from the sale of his patrimony. When you come into the land that Jehovah your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination, or tells fortunes, or interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or a charmer, or a medium, or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to Jehovah. And because of these abominations, Jehovah your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before Jehovah your God. For these nations which you are about to dispossess, listen to fortune tellers and to diviners. But as for you, Jehovah your God has not allowed you to do this. Jehovah your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. It is to him you shall listen, just as you desired of Jehovah your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, "Let me not hear again the voice of Jehovah my God, or see this great fire anymore, lest I die." Jehovah said to me, "They are right in what they have spoken. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And whoever will not listen to my words that he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name that I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, "How may we know the word that Jehovah has not spoken?" When a prophet speaks in the name of Jehovah, if the word does not come to pass or come true, that is a word that Jehovah has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. You need not be afraid of him.